The gap between the super rich and everybody else is one of the biggest issues that we face in this country, but it's not something that we talk about very much in Westminster. And that's funny. We've been writing books about the wealth of this nation since Adam Smith, almost 250 years ago. But I bet if you and I went out into the street right now and asked people what is the wealth of our nation, people probably couldn't tell you. Well, here's the answer. Since I was born back in the holy town of Warrington in 1970, the wealth of our nation has multiplied 100-fold, over £12 trillion now. That's pretty much what household net worth is today. That's quite a hard number to get your head around, but here's a way to look at it. Over £12 trillion is enough to buy yourself a path of gold bars about 5 bars wide and pave your path all the way from John O'Groats to Land's End. That's how much £12 trillion buys you. But here's the inconvenient truth. For most of my life, the way that we shared wealth was getting fairer. People across the income spectrum were basically getting richer. But something changed back in 2010. Since 2010, the top 1%, the richest people in our country, have multiplied their wealth by 41 times more than everybody else. At its very extreme, wealth inequality today is almost as bad as it was in the days of the Romans. Back in Roman times, the richest fortunes were about 1.5 million times the size of the average wages of a worker. Well, what have we got today? If you look at the fortune of the Hinduja brothers, who are the richest family in Britain, their wealth is now 1.3 million times the size of average median wages. So, at its most extreme, wealth inequality today is almost as bad as it was in the days of the Roman Empire. Now, this creates a number of really significant problems. First, it now means that most people in our country feel that the super rich have more power than national governments. When we went out to poll on this, 39% of people said that the top 1%, or the very richest in our country, have more power even than national governments. And when we asked people why that was a problem, they were really clear. They said unfair business influence on government, and second, a rising risk of corruption. Second, we've got the moral problem, what I call the moral emergency that now divides our country. On the one hand, we have sales of, say, super yachts and private jets and, say, Rolls-Royce cars. They are literally now at an all-time high. But that absurdity of affluence is underway at the same time as we have record queues at our food banks and child poverty, which is not going down, it's actually going up. But the third big problem is that we are completely screwing the next generation. We are basically becoming what some people have called inheritocracy. That means that your ability to get on in life basically depends on what family you were born into. In fact, again, in the polling that we've undertaken together with the Fairness Foundation and King's College London, we found that most people think hard work is now only third or fourth on the list of things that are important in explaining whether you're successful in life. Much more important, in fact, the top reason for success in life today is seen as the family that you're born into. That's got terrible implications for the future of social mobility and, frankly, the just merits of being able to work hard and get on in life and afford the things that you need in order to bring up a family and have a future that you can look forward to. So the bad news is that history doesn't offer us many good examples for how wealth inequality actually gets reversed. In fact, if you look over the last couple of thousand years of history, what you see is that the only big reversals of wealth inequality come either through war or, second, through revolution. Now, there are plenty of people in politics who want to advocate for both of those solutions. I'm not sure those are the right answers. What we've got to do instead is find not war or revolution, but a reformation. We've got to change the way that we do things. And what I want to do in the next few videos is set out some of the ideas in my new book, The Inequality of Wealth, that explain how we can actually reverse the inequality of wealth that now bedevils our country and create an old idea, something that was talked about from the days of the ancient Greeks and has got quite a lot of support once upon a time on both left and right. It's the idea of the wealth-owning democracy, not just a wealthy democracy, but something different, a democracy of wealth. If you'd like to listen to these videos, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel.